Hello and welcome back to Spanish Animation. I am your host, Dennis Batholkis, and this is Krypton, Season 2, Episode 4, Danger Close. And you know what? This is also July 3rd right now, and I kind of figured this is going to happen, that there's going to be nobody in the chat and nobody watching. But hey, you know what? I don't blame you. It is, the night before 4th of July. People are getting ready with all kinds of stuff. And I hope you enjoy your 4th of July as well. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of business. Since I normally do it at the end of the video, I'm going to do it at the beginning of the video. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. You can hit the dislike button. I just asked you go down in the comment section. Tell me what it is you don't like. You know who you are, that one person who keeps doing it. And just give me some constructive criticism. Don't say, you know what, you're ugly, you smell, you talk funny, whatever. I don't care about that kind of stuff. And let's see what else. You can also find out when I'm beyond what my schedule is by going to suspendedfanimation.com. My whole schedule is up there. It's also mirrored over on my Facebook page as well for Suspended Fanimation. You can take a look at my Instagram and my Twitter as well. I post stuff up there as well. And I also have a Patreon page up, but I don't have any tiers set up at the moment. But that will happen at some point in time. So, with that stuff out of the way, let's get to it, shall we? Spoiler alert, I am going to spoil this episode. If you haven't seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back, and this will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. Hey, Joe Greer. Hey, and Joe. I got the Joes here. Nice. I thought I was going to be by myself tonight. So, we have Seg carrying Kem back home, a very drunk Kem back home, when he runs into a Sagittari talking to one of the street vendors, and he puts Kem to the side there and decides to stop this before, the Sagittari shuts down the street vendor. And we find out that it's Lyda. And she happens to be a patron of this person and is not going to shut her down. She's actually looking for a binding cloth for her betrothed, basically a gift for her betrothed, is what she says. And because they're going to have a binding ceremony, and that's what this is all about. And at one point, she doesn't know how to do the binding ritual, so she asks Seg for some help, and he shows her how to do it and all this stuff. And they're kind of flirting with each other a bit here and there. And just before, they're getting ready to leave, he picks up Kem again because Kem kind of staggers out of the wall there. Hey, Joshua, how's it going? He ends up seeing Brainiac, and Brainiac lets him know that he's still there, part of his brain. He wakes up with a start, and he's of course still out in the Outlands with with Adam there. And we might have Brainiac still on the brain for Seg, shall we say. So Adam is trying to warn him and say, that Zod is, a really bad person. We shouldn't go up against him alone, shouldn't underestimate him. And Seg's like, don't worry about it. He's my son. I can handle him, kind of thing. And it's like, all right, sure, man. So we see the Sagittari on Wexlor have gotten the shit kicked out of them. And of course, Kem was part of that group. And he is running out of oxygen. So he grabs somebody's oxygenator and pumps himself up. And of course, he's the only person that's left out of his squad. He was forced in to be a Sagittari, like we've seen most of these people. And who happens to find him but Kyo, the Nissa's girlfriend, and picks him up. And he is, of course, the only person that's left in his squad that survived. Seg and Adam, in the meantime, finally got into Kandor, and Seg's in his old quadrant and says, well, this doesn't look anything. I don't know what the hell's going on here. And Adam's like, yeah, welcome. This is what Zod's gentrification looks like. And that's what Zod's been doing. He's been gentrifying Kandor to make it better for people, moving all the homeless out, kind of thing. And so he has an idea to basically be seen with Zod in public to get Zod's supporters, since they all know that Val is, of course, the face of the rebellion. If Seg can be seen with Zod, then it will actually turn some of Zod's supporters towards the rebellion, and this whole thing will end. So, hey, movie Finobi, oh my god. It's amazing. Yeah, good night, Moof and everybody. I know it's late for you guys out there. So Cam in the meantime is talking to Keo, and of course she tells him that he was the last survivor, and that he's very, very lucky, and he doesn't feel lucky, of course. Um, and the rebels are celebrating their victory over the Sagittari. And Jax tells them that, you know what, it's not over with yet. If we take the elevator, then we'll have full, victory over everything. So don't celebrate just yet because they're sending up reinforcements as it is. But she has a plan, you know what? And um, of course, they need to take this elevator. And all of a sudden, Adam shows up. He popped out of nowhere, is what they said. And Val says, "Hey, Adam, how's it going?" Pretty much. Yeah. This episode wasn't great. It moved some stuff along, but it was very how should I say it? Kind of lackluster for the most part. It was a necessary evil in order to move kind of some stuff along. So Seg and Lyta are in bed. They've met up now. Seg is able to get to her fairly easily, and they're in bed, and she's kind of enjoying this. When all of a sudden she gets a nosebleed, and he's like, "What's going on?" And she's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I've been getting these more and more since the war's been going on, and it'll go away." And she kind of turns, and so this is again leading kind of some credence to the fact that she might have been reconditioned or mind wiped or mind altered at this point. So yeah. Uh, Sorry. And Seg warns her that he saw in the future, in the Phantoms, when he was in the Phantom Zone, that Zod takes over the entire galaxy, and basically against everyone's will. And she doesn't believe it, of course. She's like, you know what? Well, first she doesn't believe it. Then she goes, well, you know what? Here, I'll help you, kind of thing. She's very vague about how she's going to help or what she's going to do. It's a very kind of a weird response from her. So in the meantime, Adam fills in Val on what happened, everything that happened with Seg and everything, and he's happy to see that Seg is alive and out of the Phantom Zone, and knew that he would. And then Adam admits, he goes, "I think I screwed up the timeline." He says, "When I was trying to go forward in time," he says, "I hit a wall, like time stopped," which is very, very bad. And Val's like, "You know what? Don't worry about it right now. The thing that we need to concentrate on is Zod and stopping him." Yeah. So Lyta, in the meantime, introduces Seg to Corvex, because she has him, and says soon they will be together as a family, kind of thing. And their son, as she puts it, will they can raise him and all this stuff. And Seg's like, whoa, 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 wait a minute, this is Nissa and my son, not your son. And just then Zod walks in. He goes, "Oh, good, you're here." And he turns towards Lyta and says, "Wait a minute, you told him I was here?" She goes, "Well, yeah, of course," kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know. She or is she not mind wiped? We don't know for sure at this point. Jaina and Dev are out in the Outlands, and he apologizes, of course, for what she saw the other night. And she says, "You know what? That's fine. Don't worry about it." And he tells her exactly what happened, how he came to be out in the Outlands. And essentially, the Sagittari are outnumbered by the rebels by quite a bit, and the rebels have been picking them off one by one. So he and Kem was in his group of people, were in a tunnel. They found a group of civilians, and he wanted to clear them out. But of course, the Sagittari were like, "Nope, blow the tunnel, kill everybody." And he wouldn't do it. So he knocks out all of his team except for Kem, gets the people out of there, and he gets arrested for his trouble. But Kem releases him and tells him the name of a smuggler out in the Outlands that can help him, gets him out of the city, out of Kandor. He comes back because he doesn't believe that Lyta has changed. He asked over the radio if he can get confirmation from Lyta, and they said that Lyta was the one who had done that. She was the one that ordered that. And he ends up talking to her, and she says, "No, you know what? That was my order," kind of thing. And he says, "I don't believe you." He goes, "This is not the person I fell in love with." She goes, "Believe it. This is me. This is what I do." And he's like, "You know what? I got to go then. Screw you. see ya, I'm out. And he left. So Jaina says she she's hearing this, but she can't believe it, and that she believes that she can change her daughter's mind and that she can save him. And Dev's like, there's no way you can. And he goes, the only thing we need to do is stop Zod. And I need to know that if you're with me or if you're against me, kind of thing. He says, if you're going to stand in my way of trying to get, stop Zod, I need to know now. And she goes, you know what? You followed me for so long. This time, she goes, we're going to walk together side by side. No one's going to follow the other, kind of thing. No, Joker, that wasn't his mother. That was Lyta's mother, Jaina. That was his commander, is what that was. So she was the one that was the head of the Sagittari before Lyta was. Of course, they think that, at first they thought she was dead. Lyta thought she was dead, but they didn't find a body. So she knows her mom is out there someplace. Seg, in the meantime, confronts Zod for trapping him in the Phantom Zone. And Zod keeps kind of like waving his hand away, like, everything's good, man. Everything's good. Zod says he did it to save Krypton from Brainiac. And of course, Seg tells Zod that he killed Brainiac. And Zod is actually kind of relieved about that. And Zeg also tells him about the vision that he had of Zod killing Lyta. And he doesn't believe, he's like, you know what? The Phantom Zone gives you all kinds of different visions, all kinds of weird shit that's happening. And because I don't believe it. He goes, but I do want you to kind of work together with me to build up Krypton to what it was, having the House of El and the House of Zod work together again like old days. And Seg's like, you know what? When we did that in the old days, our houses, we ended up destroying a lot of Krypton. He goes, I don't think it's a good idea. And Zod's like, you know what? No, it's going to be different this time. And he goes, you'll see. We need to unite Krypton. With you on my side, we can end the war and we can unite Krypton. And Seg really does not want to join him, of course. So Adam runs into Kem and apologizes for Ona's death. Ona was a little girl, by the way, if you remember. And he's like, you know what? I'm over that now. Kem's like, that was a long time ago, essentially. So yeah, everything's good. Don't worry about it. And he's shocked to learn that Seg is still alive. And Adam has a plan. And it's Val's plan to take over the space elevator. And he needs a Sagittari access code, which is what Kem has in his hand. In his little sleeve. It's basically sewn into his arm there. And he's going to go back and talk to Val and Jax about this to make sure that they were okay, to fill him in on the plan, to fold it in, as he says. In the meantime, Seg is getting scanned to see if everything's okay with him because he's been in the Phantom Zone and also out in the Outlands. He looked like shit. And who is running the scans, the medical scans, but Rika. Rika was the Doomsday cult leader, and of course knows who Seg is. And Seg keeps trying to break through to her, saying, hey, don't you remember me? Don't you remember me? And she's trying to brush him off because she doesn't. She's been reconditioned. And she has a break and basically starts screaming at her and freaking out. People come in and sedate her and say that she needs to be reconditioned again. Yes, the space elevator. And Seg's like, well, I'll take her to go get reconditioned, to fix what was happening. Where do I take her? And they're like, oh, no, you're not authorized. He goes, I am the son of your ruler. I think I have authorization. Go and ask somebody. Yeah, because that always works. Do you know who my daddy is? Do you know who my son is? Yeah. And so Seg, of course, takes Rika to go and get reconditioned again or have her brain fixed, however it is. So Nyssa tells Val that they need to stop. Basically, if the codex goes off, that shit can go really, really wrong and destroy Krypton. And Val believes her, of course. He doesn't know that she's working for Zod and says, okay, we can do this. What he doesn't know is that Jax has already weaponized the codex and set things in place and given the detonator to Kyo. Yeah. So Seg ends up bringing Rika to the reconditioning chamber, and he's talking to the controller there for a little bit and finds out, what's going on with the controls and knocks out the controller and then starts searching for Lyta's reconditioning program. And of course, he can't find anything. So he starts looking through at the last mention of Lyda's name, and he sees the last vision of what she said to Rika, where she basically told her, you know what, you've been tortured, but you're not going to remember any of this conversation, kind of thing. And he's pretty upset about this at this point because he knows that Lyda is pretty much screwed. She's her head's not screwed on right, shall we say. So Adam and Kem, of course, leave with Kyo and her team of Merry Misfits to go and take the elevator. Seg ends up getting caught by Zod looking at the files, and he keeps asking Zod, "What did you do? What did you do?" And what does he get? He gets to get reconditioned for his troubles, for finding out what he did. He gets thrown in the chair and reconditioned. Zod's like, you know what? I was kind of hoping to not have to do this, but you'll come to love me in time, kind of thing, and throws him in the chair. So Kem, Adam, and Kyo's team, they reach the barrier in the tunnel. They knock out, kill some guards. And Kem goes to activate his little thing on the barrier there and sets off an alarm, of course. And they're getting ready to scatter at this point. And Kem's like, wait, I got something. And he says, I have a data scrambler. And he puts the data scrambler on top of it and gets through. Hey, Mr. Roboto. So I love Kem too, Kem was actually the bright spot in this, where he's making little quips like, oh no, Kem saved us all. He should be the leader, which I thought was pretty funny. They didn't knock out some guards. They killed those guards, quite honestly. Yeah, exactly. Who's your daddy and who does he work for? What is your daddy's name? Seg, in the meantime, his reconditioning's done. They're going to take him to go and relax because, his spa treatment's done, and they're going to take him into the other room to hear some waterfalls and all that kind of stuff. And as they're picking him up from the chair, he wakes up and knocks out everybody again in the room, and ends up taking a look because the reconditioning agent there says, oh, well, we've downloaded everything. We'll look at it later. And he starts starts scanning through a little bit of it. And Seg wakes up, knocks everybody out, and he goes to the terminal, starts looking at it. And what do we see? But we see his face in mid scream and kind of shaking. And he's split into two, Brainiac and Seg. So there's still a little bit of Brainiac left in there. Yeah. Anytime there's no blood, no, not really. It's SyFy, man. They killed him. They used a phaser. There you go. It's a phaser burn. It's inside. They cooked their organs with some microwaves. So we have the rebel group, of course, going into the elevator and the elevator base station. And in the meantime, the ground support is on the way. And the key that Jax has in order to get them past the door doesn't work. We find out the oxygenators that they had stolen from the Sagittarii are bogus anyway, and they all start running out of oxygen. So all the rebel team, all the ground support team actually die. They end up, pretty much suffocating right there on the planet. So this plan turned to shit really, really fast. Really, really fast. So Jax orders the codex to be detonated, and which it's going to wipe out all the Sagittarii. It's genetically coded to all the Sagittarii, which is kind of weird because I don't know if Sagittarii means that you get encoded genetically or what it is, but it was supposed to be a genetic code. It didn't make any sense. So anyway, Kyo has the detonator. She hits it. Nothing happens. She actually apologizes to Kem. Says, sorry, Kem, hits the button and nothing happens. And we find out that Val had found the codex, deactivated it, and Jax is pretty pissed off at him at this point. And that's when Adams decides that, you know what, I'm going to continue the mission on my own. He goes, we're going to break through the door. And there's like, you're going to die. Because I know, but we need to finish this. And once he gets through the door, what happens? He runs into Lyda, who's there to stop everything. And that's where we end up with the end of the episode. Like I said, not a great episode. It just kind of moved the story forward. There wasn't anything, quite honestly, this is something without Brainiac in it. The story is actually best on Krypton when we have a lot of Brainiac. Interesting question. You have an interesting question, Joe? What's that? I would have liked to have seen, quite honestly, that's what this is all about. It's mainly about Brainiac. Zod is kind of boring right now, to tell you the truth. Yeah, and no Tiny Lobo. Tiny Lobo, I'm okay not having any more Tiny Lobo. So yeah. Too much story to tell, I guess. Not really. I don't think they have enough story, to tell you the truth. I think they might have written themselves into a corner, don't know where they're supposed to go. The whole thing about time stopping in the future, like Adam says, that was actually interesting. And Val kind of brushing it off is not like Val. Val is a man of science. He's going to want to know what the fuck that is. Yes, you have a pressing issue of Zod, but you already had a plan going into place as it is. So why not turn a little bit of attention towards what's happening with the timeline as well? Yeah, walking and talking. Exactly. Slurmy Scott. Slurmy Joe here, been lurking as I don't know Craptown. I would call it Craptown. And have nothing coherent to say. Been watching end of last season of Stranger Things. Okay. Neil before Todd. I mean Zod. Yeah. So like I said, not the best of episodes, but it moves it along. It moves along the storyline. And say what you will, there, like I said, there's interesting things. I kind of knew that Brainiac was still left a little bit in Seg. He still had a little bit of Brainiac left in him. Yeah, that just sounded wrong, but sure. Joshua, it really isn't that hard to create more story, especially for Krypton. Yeah, I know, Joshua, but this is SyFy channel writer, so I can almost guarantee you that Goyer is long gone. He is not anywhere involved with this thing at all. He has been working on other scripts for movies and things like that. I just saw his name on a script for something that popped up on the one of the trailers for one of the movies before Spider-Man Far From Home last night. Have you seen Russell Davies' new show? No, I haven't. Joker. Yeah. Guess you get what you pay for. Exactly, Joshua. This is what you. Yeah, unfortunately. What if they called it Space: The Final Frontier with Superman characters? Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, it's Sci-Fi Channel, which is NBC Universal, which has never been friendly to sci-fi shows. So there you go. Yeah. Yeah, Joe. I don't. I only have a certain amount of time to actually watch some things, so I'm kind of selective in what I'm watching. Sometimes I put something on in the background that I've already seen before, just to have some noise, I guess you could say, as I'm working on something else. So yeah, no money, no good shows. Exactly, Joe. Characters, but so yeah, it's fairly interesting that this is the. I mean, so far we're 4 episodes in. I think it's a 13 episode season, if I remember correctly. Uh, and this has been the first, like, you know, episode. Not a great episode, not a crappy episode. It's just kind of middle of the line. So, waves the hand. I'm looking at old what everyone wrote here. Okay, so nothing really going on. My new line is: "You date sci-fi shows, you can't marry them." I don't even know if you date sci-fi shows, tell you the truth, Joker, especially if they're on the Sci-Fi Channel. They're usually one night stands because that's about as long as they last on Sci-Fi Channel. Hey, Pen Farm Girl, how's it going? Yeah, Z Nation was a different animal altogether. Z Nation was, again, like lightning in a ball. They started off trying to be serious, and they went for the comedy because they realized that was where their strong suit was. Because they tried doing a serious version of it on Netflix with that Black Summer series, and that sucked ass. I mean, they canceled that thing faster than it was supposed to be a whole new series for Netflix, and they're like, nope, one season done. We're done with that. At least Krypton is better than Captain Marvel. Yeah, yeah. I mean, the writing's just about as bad. So I'll give you that. 7 different writers pulling in different directions. But Joe Greer says it's years and years similar to Black Mirror, but with a heart. Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I will be watching. I think probably after this, I'm going to go on to DC Universe and take a look over at Young Justice, because the new episodes of Young Justice come out today, if I remember correctly. I believe, or they came out yesterday. I think it's today. It's today they came out. So, Krypton doesn't disrespect the source material. Yeah, it's true. I mean, they're kind of fast and loose with a couple of things, like, you know, Lobo being around. So this is supposed to be 200 years before Superman. Lobo's not supposed to be around at this point. He doesn't come around until around the same time as Superman. So, yeah. So where that came from, I have no idea. Brainiac, yes, that's fine. You can actually do a. There's so many different versions of how Brainiac came into being that this is fine the way they're doing it. Yeah. 21 Jump Street, the movie. Yeah. So with that said, again, if you like what you see, hit the subscribe. If I can actually speak, hit the subscribe button and the like button, as you can get some more eloquent words coming out of my mouth, you know, at a later time. You can also see when I'm going to be on live again next by hitting the bell. If you already hit the bell, don't hit it again. It will unclick it. You can go into the bell settings and get as many or as little notifications as you want. Just so you know, you still only have a 50-50 chance of that actually happening, because that's the way that bell works with YouTube. If you really want to see what I'm going to be on, you can go on to my webpage, suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule there. I only set it up a week ahead of time, and you can take a look at that there. It's also on my Facebook page for Suspended Animation, Suspended Fanimation. I said Suspended Animation there. My God, bad. Suspended Fanimation. And I also have a Twitter and Instagram, and I also have a Patreon page, but no tiers are set up at the moment. Oh God, excuse me. Lobo maybe was around. He regenerated. No, not at that time. 200 years ago. No, it's not. It was hard to watch Young Justice since they just recently did the Judas Contract movie. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I will take a look, like I said, later on. That's pretty much all I got going on so far. I mean, like I said, it's July 3rd, the night before 4th of July. Everyone's getting ready to go and barbecue, most likely have some drinks. And yes, I am off tomorrow. And then I got to go back to work again on Friday. But I'm fairly sure that it's going to be a very, very skeleton crew of people at work on Friday, which I'm happy with. So, do you watch any anime? Not really, Joe Greer. I haven't in a while. I used to in my youth, but not anymore. Yeah, I just haven't. Quite honestly, I have a PS4 sitting over here that I haven't touched in a while either. Yeah, do something with your Patreon. Yes, I am, Joe. I'm going to. If, like I said, if I had enough time, if I had a pocket universe where I could slow down time, I would have a lot of things done. But unfortunately, this whole pesky work thing gets in the way. You know, that eats up a lot of time during my day. I still need to work on stuff for Comic-Con, as a matter of fact. I need to work on business cards and all kinds of stuff. So, and the shirt as well. Yes, I do have some shirt ideas that are rattling around in that noggin up here. So, the only thing that really disturbed me was how, talking about Captain Marvel, something a little different. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys go for the evening. You guys all have a good 4th of July. And thank you for coming in and joining me in the chat. Joshua Marcasano, Joker the Third, Joe, Mr. Roboto, and of course, Pen Farm Girl. I know Pen Farm Girl is floating around up here. Slurmy Scott, and of course, we had the flyby, the drive-by, I guess you could say, for Movie Fanobi. And thank you if you stuck around this long in the video to come around here. And thank you to all the new subscribers that have come in. I believe we've had about 31 new subscribers come in. Come on by again. Tomorrow, I'm going to be off, of course, because there's no iZombie on 4th of July. Friday is going to be Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing is still same as usual. Saturday is Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I do the genre news of the week and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about. And of course, Monday is the ever awesome Legion on FX. So, with that said, again, thank you everybody in the chat. Thank you everybody out there watching. I will see you on Friday. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may get taken in to go get reconditioned by General Zod. Thank you, everybody. Good night and happy 4th of July.